Welcome to the Christian Book Review segment on Total Inspiration TV. For the last couple of months, we've been looking at some great books from the DPI catalog, our Manna for the Morning, books on security, books on relationships. One great book we looked at was on the physical relationship between a man and his wife. You know, today we get a chance to take it to another level, intimately, on an emotional level between Christians. And I have a great couple who are going to help us today with our Christian book review. Welcome to Total Inspiration TV. This is Winsbert and Janelle Quow, a beautiful married couple looking at a beautiful book called Building Emotional Intimacy. Let me get that right. Building Emotional Intimacy in Your Marriage. Let me just ask you, why as a Christian do you need books to help you?
You know, the thing is, we all use books to learn. You know, coming from school, we'd have textbooks. So even when we work, we have textbooks. Our relationship with God is very important to us. We do have the Bible, but from time to time, we'll need different perspective from others more experienced than ourselves to help us to grow in our relationship with God. They may have done something that we want to do, achieve a certain level of faith, and they can help us by their experiences. So it's good to have books, and as many books as you can read about religious material that can help you in your own walk with God.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to the review on this book, Building Emotional Intimacy in Your Marriage.
Today, we're looking at a book called Building Emotional Intimacy in Your Marriage, written by Jeff and Florence Katchinger. Now, these guys have been married for 25 years, and they work full-time in the ministry in Western Connecticut. Jen and I, we've been only married for 7 years, and this book really helps us to see what we need to be for each other. Emotional intimacy is about really getting to know your spouse. And to do that, you have to make time for good conversation. You have to make time to spend, quality time with each other. Sometimes you can be at home and maybe just watching television, but we're not really talking. In the book, it said that there was a study done, and the average couple spends about 12 minutes talking per day. And when you spend so little time talking, sometimes it's hard to get to know each other. You would appreciate that as we go through different phases in life, we change. We get married and different things happen. We get kids, we have kids, or we change careers, and our dreams and goals change. The book helps us to see that we need to keep talking to each other, keep understanding each other, because we do change as we progress in our marriage.
For me, the book was very interesting, an eye-opener really. And it helped me to see how important it is to really work at building emotional intimacy. It says building emotional intimacy, which implies that it is not something that comes naturally, and it's something that you have to work at. And, the book talks about making time for each other, as Winsbert said, quality time, and also quantity time. You need to spend adequate amounts of time speaking and really getting to know each other. What motivates you? If something happened during the day that hurt your feelings, why did it hurt your feelings? So that your spouse could really understand who you are at a heart level. And, I think sometimes as women, it is difficult to really be completely vulnerable, even though it's our spouse. But it shows that this is absolutely important if we want to build and maintain a level of intimacy that will keep us married and keep us happy.
This book is based on Genesis 2, where it says that, when you find a spouse, when God created Adam and Eve, the idea was that the two of them will become one flesh. This emotional intimacy is about becoming that one flesh. And the truth is, the primary responsibility is on the man, the lead in the relationship, to build that emotional intimacy. It means that we have to make the time for our spouses. We have to be the ones setting the example. I know it's very difficult for men to talk sometimes, especially to talk on a heart level. We will talk with our friends, we'll talk about politics, we'll talk about sports, but sometimes it's difficult to share what's really going on with us inside, some hurt feelings that we've had, even from the past. But sometimes those things, oftentimes, not just sometimes, those things affect our relationship. Jeff and Florence, what I admire about them, they've been married for 25 years when they wrote this book. That it's not just about theory. They didn't just say, well, these are the things that you need to do, go and do it. They gave us some practicals too, as to how they have been able to achieve emotional intimacy in their marriage, and also to let us know that they are still working on it, because from time to time they will change. They themselves will change, different priorities and goals, and they need to let their spouses know what is happening. But as a man, though, men, it's very important for us to also get into reading these books. Sometimes it's easy for our wives to read them and tell us all about the book, but we need to read them too as well, and grow with our spouses. Doing this together with my wife is an example of that. She read the book, and I read it as well, and we're able to practically apply some of the things that we've learned.
Yeah, I think one of the practicals from the book, especially for women, because women tend to be the chief caregivers, is that if you have children, you need to make a special effort to spend time with your spouse. Give your children a bedtime and put them to bed so that you and your spouse could reconnect at the end of the day, and so that you're not simply running from one day into the other and you haven't spent good time with your spouse. And something else that Florence addresses in the book is, the different things that kill our intimacy, that really decrease the level of intimacy in the marriage. And, those include making threats, threatening to leave even though you don't intend to, really. And other things like that, such as being deceitful, not being completely honest with how you feel. So those are practical things that really help in the book.
All in all, it's a must read for married couples, whether you've been married for a few years or many years. It really was an eye-opener for me. From the time I picked it up, I could not stop reading it, and I still have to go over some of the concepts so that I can really internalize it. But it was really helpful to me, and even understanding my wife more, and I know that it will help with our relationship getting much closer. So I just want to encourage you to pick up a copy if you can, and encourage both husband and wife to read this book, Building Emotional Intimacy in Your Marriage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janelle and Winsbert. Building Emotional Intimacy in Your Marriage. Another book from Discipleship Publications International. If you're interested in any of the books that we have reviewed here on Total Inspiration TV, this one or any of the others, contact us at 529-1005. That's it for Christian Book Review for today.